Sister dragging children into conflict. My sister and I have always had a very close and strong relationship. I always knew that our childhoods affected her a little more deeply than mine. She's 5 years older and remembers a lot more than I do. I think I've never really noticed her toxic stuff until I've gotten older. To cut this shorter and avoid a lifelong story of our terrible childhood, I'll just get right to it. My sister has 2 kids, my 13-year-old niece, and my 8-year-old nephew. I am close to both of them, but I have a special spot for my niece. She got a real hit hand when it comes to the father department, but she is beyond her age in wit, strength, and all around everything. Her mom tells her absolutely everything, more than I tell my child at that age. So, my sister got involved with a guy fresh out of prison for allegedly thing a dude's face up with glass in a bar fight. He did a few years in prison, got out, and met my sister. Seemed like a super nice guy at first, although there were a couple of times I saw some red flags when it comes to how he speaks to my sister and her children. Whatever, kids can get to you, right? Well, he's a salesman for a home security company. I work full-time building emergency vehicles. He mentioned possibly having me do some after-work/weekend work. I obliged. I got about 2 days of training with a dude from out of town, then thrown to the wolves. It was pretty easy for the most part, had a couple jobs that were absolute nightmares, plus hardly any training equals very long nights. I eventually decided that I was not willing to sacrifice the amount of time I was sacrificing with my son and girlfriend, plus I hadn't even gotten paid at the time. So I picked the worst possible time ever to quit a job, 2 hours before a job, whatever. I don't owe anyone, especially a company I'm working for part-time and hasn't paid me, or trained me ECT. Well, that was a big problem for Big Sister. She called me and said something to the effect of, "We depend on you to do these jobs so we can pay our bills. Ex-con needs you to do the work, what the F?" It was much more aggressive than that, but this post is already long as F. I reacted and told her, "It's not my fault that your grown-up boyfriend is depending on me to pay his bills while I am already working 60+ hours a week. I haven't gotten paid by this company. It's not worth the time I'm losing with my son." That's the gist of what I said, although I definitely had a few more choice words about how dumb it was for him to depend on me working 3 to 4 days a week for him. You should be taking your time to find full-time installers. So he proceeded to block me, whatever. Well, then me and my sister didn't talk for like a month. She reached out, after a month of no contact. We speak very regularly before this. I texted my niece a few times and my texts didn't go through. So when she reached out, "Sister," I asked about why my texts weren't going through. She said she was grounded from her phone. Okay, cool. Well, within an hour or so my texts went through. And my 13-year-old niece told me that I can't talk to her if I'm not talking to her mom. I told her my relationship with you is not dictated by my relationship with anyone ever. I love you no matter what. She pretty much told me to F off, and I hurt her mom's feelings, so she doesn't want anything to do with me. I freaked out. I told my sister how disgusting it is to drag her 13-year-old daughter into a bunch of bull that had absolutely nothing to do with her, and my sister told me, "Don't you dare tell me how to raise my kid. I tell her everything, and if you don't like it you can FK off for good." I told her that until she can be an adult and admit when she's wrong she will never be happy. And the only reason nobody ever takes your opposer's side is because you bring men into your life that do nothing but use you and tell you exactly what you want to hear. She reached out to me today and said this: "I don't know. I don't want to be in a fight with you anymore, but I'm still super hurt and upset about the things you said. So I guess I figure we have to start somewhere if you want to. Also, I have zero motivation to respond to this." She is incapable of being wrong or admitting when she has crossed a line, ECT. Am I the a-hole here? All of this because I quit a job that was wasting my time and my money? By the way, I never got paid for the installs I did.